Folks, it's been 2 weeks, and rumors of our death have been greatly exaggerated. That is right. We are live, and this is Retro Reload. I am your host, Dash V, and with me today I've got Lizzie Silvis, also known as Miss Hedgehog.
Hi.
And we also have the fabulous, often imitated but rarely duplicated T. Pugmire.
Hello.
So, folks, we're going to start you off with some news. Normally, Jeremy gives the news, but Jeremy is missing in action today, so he might be on Battlefield 1. I'm not sure. But either that or he might be the ace of combat somewhere. We might find out, hopefully, later on he jumps in and tells us where he went. But in the meantime, Lizzie, do you want to kick us off with the news? There's some Sega news, right?
Oh, yes. Recently, Sega has noticed that fans have been uploading the Sonic Boom episodes. And Sega has taken a very kind, good cop style of requesting the fans, please take these episodes down.
From what I
But
understand, they're contacting them directly. They're like writing them like personalized emails and personalized, messages and stuff like that in the back channels.
yeah, but they're being very nice about it. I mean, they're saying, hey, guys, please, take down these episodes, They're doing a complete opposite of what Nintendo has been doing to the fans who have been uploading stuff.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too because Nintendo will go so far as to say, hey, that gameplay footage of you playing the game and you streaming it, we own that. We own your recording of you playing the game, and so we deserve money, or your stuff has to be taken down. I thought it was cool that in this case, Sega's really just going, hey, that episode of that show that we made entirely that you just recorded and posted to YouTube. By the way, that's not exactly legal. Maybe you didn't know that, so please take it down. So I thought that it was pretty cool that they're kind of, like you said, taking the good cop approach because, Nintendo, it's almost like you almost expect them to, like, show up to your house. Yes.
Take
Right?
it down. Take it down, folks.
They'll pistol whip you with a NES zapper, right? And then they'll take your stuff and then they'll kick their dog on your dog on the way out.
Oh, Nintendo, why?
So I love their games. I don't like their policies, but this is really nothing new for Sega, though, right? I mean, Sega kind of has a history of infringers, right? If you will, like they take what could be very volatile, very charged situations, and I think that they diffuse them with professionalism and they kind of like reach out to these people like they're people. You guys remember the Game Genie debacle, right? When Game Genie
Yes.
first came out for the Nintendo?
Uh-huh.
Oh, man. There were lawsuits galore, and Nintendo tried to get them stopped, and then they couldn't get them stopped, and then the Super Nintendo came out. So obviously, they made a Game Genie for Super Nintendo, and Nintendo went so far as to modify their console to make the first batch of Game Genies not work. It was pretty ridiculous. Yeah, it was like a game of cat and mouse, and meanwhile, Sega reached out to Galoob and said, hey, if you wanted to make a Game Genie for the Sega Genesis, we'll license it. And so, on the Nintendo, it's kind of like this, this unofficial product. Nintendo did all this stuff. Oh, you're going to damage your console, you're going to destroy your games, etc. And Sega did the good cop approach of like, hey, if you want to make that, we think it's a cool technology. Like, you can come over here and do it, and we even slapped the Sega label on it. So another thing, I don't know if you guys ever heard about this one, but this is from the archives. Back in the day, remember when emulation first became a thing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was so fresh. Like, everybody knew that guy or girl that was like, hey, I could play Mario or I could play Sonic on my PC. And you're like, no, you can't do that. You're crazy. You're telling stories. But it was like, no, really, I can do it. Like, emulation wasn't like it is now, where it's on, even consoles are emulating previous generations. But one of the authors, Steve Snake, he was the author of an emulator called KGen, which was very, very accurate, actually. It was able to play a lot of games that some of the other Sega Genesis games couldn't play, and it was able to play them at full speed. And we're talking, like, on early hardware. I'm not talking, like, Pentium, 4s or anything like that. Like Pentium 2 level hardware, he was able to get, like, full speed. And, part of that was because he actually was a developer. He developed a couple games. He'd done some ports of games, namely NBA Jam for Sega Genesis and a handful of others. And so he knew the Sega Genesis hardware. He knew the Genesis assembler and that kind of thing. And from that information that he had and that experience he had, he built an awesome emulator. Well, in an interview that I'll link down in the doodly-doo, we didn't do the interview. Another group did the interview. But they basically asked him, like what happened? Because for a while he was like kicking out a lot of releases, and then it was like really quiet, and then there was one new release, and then it went quiet again. So they were like, well, what's going on? And he says that he'd just done. This is Steve Snake. He says, I'd just done a major rewrite of K-Gen, which later became K-Gen 98, when I got an email from somebody at Sega of America. It was very vague, just saying that they needed to talk to me. I immediately halted all production of K-Gen because I assumed they were not happy about my emulator. He was afraid they were going to take like legal action, or that they were just like gathering their information like Nintendo would, right? Because at the time, Nintendo was taking the stance, and still takes the stance today, that emulation that they didn't develop is illegal. I mean, it's right on it's right on Nintendo's website. They believe that any emulation that allows you to play their games without their express consent is illegal. Whether or not that holds up in a court of law, don't know. Nobody's ever really tried to test it. So he's all worried that they're going to pull a Nintendo on him, right? And like, kick his dog, take all his stuff, pistol whip him with the zapper, like we talked about. And he says, after a few months, he didn't hear anything more from Sega, so he went ahead and he released his later release, which was K-Gen 98. Shortly afterwards, Sega contacted me again, and it and it happened that they wanted to release some Genesis games of theirs packaged in a Windows DirectX, application. And basically they wanted to release K-Gen, his emulator, for Windows PCs bundled with some of their games, like totally legit. And they wanted him to assist them with that. So he said obviously he was very relieved and very happy to help, but I thought that was really neat that, like, Sega could have done what Nintendo did. Nintendo went after authors and in some cases like sent them cease and desists and all this kind of stuff. But here Sega's like, hey, yeah, so we downloaded your emulator from your site, and we want to, sell it bundled with some of our games and on Windows and all that stuff. Can you give us a hand? We'll pay you.
Well, let's hope, right? Like, nah, we'll just give you some free stuff.
Yeah, and now, like, I mean, I think some of Sega's best-selling games in the last, like, decade has been things like the Sonic Ultimate Collection, right, for the PlayStation 3 and things like that, which, I don't know if those are based on K-Gen in some form or whatever, but still just a very different approach to actually reach out to the person that is, arguably doing something illegal, in the case of emulation, but definitely doing something illegal in the case of taking entire TV episodes and just uploading them. I mean, that's clearly copyright, infringement any way you slice it. So I guess that tells me two things. One, the Sega of today, in some ways, is still just as cool as the Sega that we all remember from childhood. Willing to kind of, look out for the little guy and kind of reach out first with an olive branch before they kind of, issue the fatality. Yeah. But at the same time, it makes me wonder if some of this Sonic 25th anniversary stuff ain't going to have to do with Sonic Boom.
Well, I can't say anything.
That sounds to me like Lizzie knows some inside info that she can't spill.
Well, it's pretty obvious. I'm Sonic's big fan, girl, woman, wife, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. So Lizzie can neither confirm nor deny, but I'm going to say, me personally, I don't have any inside info at all for sure, but I'm taking this as you don't really enforce this stuff unless you plan on keeping it alive and unless you're looking to do something with it. So whether
Yeah.
whether we're going to see it immediately and it has something to do with Sonic 25th anniversary or not, I think we probably have not seen the end of Sonic Boom and the Sonic Boom line, and that's probably why they're protecting their stuff. But it's cool to see that just like Sega of old, they're trying to protect it in a way that's them first reaching out to their fans, acknowledging them as fans, acknowledging the work that they put into what they've done, but then kindly asking them to please comply with the law. And I think people need to remember companies like Sega have to do this. If they don't enforce their brand, if they don't enforce their copyrights and their trademarks, they can lose them. So, it's not just necessarily a bunch of lawyers trying to make money. It's Sega, I think, trying to not have Sonic just become this generic thing. Did you see, while I was on vacation, Lizzie, I posted on Twitter, somebody posted a picture of a can of green beans from, did you see this, Tyler? I'll post it to the Retro Reload Facebook page. It was a can of green beans, and the mascot that they had on it was clearly Sonic the Hedgehog, only he was green and had like polka dots or something, and they called him something else. But
I remember.
Yeah, I'm like, that looks to me not legit. Like, I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to do what you just did right there.
Yeah, but what I noticed, another reason why Sega is doing this is because Season 2 was confirmed.
Oh, nice.
So there is a new season coming. I believe and this is based on all the pictures you see from the official Sega website, is the 25th anniversary will include Sonic Boom, because it's pretty obvious. I mean, classic, modern, and Sonic Boom. It's going to include all three, so that's another reason why Sega's so protective of Sonic. But also, a lot of fans are uploading the Sonic Boom episodes and Let's Play videos, clips from the games, but they're putting ads on it so they can make money off it. And Sega's like, no, because you're taking money away from us. You're taking money away from the voice actors and everyone who works on Sonic Boom. And on the Sonic game.
It's definitely new enough and fresh enough to where, if Sega wanted to release these as being available to purchase or rent through streaming, venues, or if they want to release it on DVD or Blu-ray, certainly having these be illegally available for free on YouTube and things like that would impact their sales. I don't care what anybody says. If somebody can get it for free, it definitely, it doesn't remove all incentive to go purchase it, but it does reduce it drastically.
Well, I know you can watch like a lot of the episodes on Cartoon Network, but that's here in the U.S. I mean, for overseas, I believe the DVDs were released for like Europe or something.
Well,
but
Cartoon
like
Network,
some of the episodes, yeah.
I mean, a lot of people don't see it that way, but Cartoon Network, yes, you're watching it free of cost to you, but you're not watching it commercial free. So
yeah, that's how they get you.
The thought there is that the revenue that's generated by the commercials, right, is in some way subsidizing the viewership of that content. If you're just posting it on YouTube and the YouTuber is the one collecting the ad revenues, number one, you're collecting ad revenues for something you didn't create. It's not like if you did a Let's Play, I think that should be totally free and clear, right? If you're doing a Let's Play, and you're playing Sega's content or Nintendo's content or whoever made the game's content, but it's your experience playing it. And so I think that that's a custom creation. If you're simply DVRing something off air and then posting it with no added value other than you jack it into your revenue stream, I can't defend that. That's you're taking advantage of somebody else's work in order to generate your own revenue stream. And if you don't have their permission to do so, you don't really have a right to be doing that. Not legally, or I don't even think morally.
Yes, because to be honest, a few years ago, everybody who was a big fan of Legend of Korra, Nickelodeon was happy with the success of season 1 of Legend of Korra. Then they said they wanted 3 more seasons, season 2, 3, and 4. Well, at first it seemed cool, but I won't say their names because But there were some fans who uploaded the episodes, and they got famous online. I mean, their name was everywhere. And when Nickelodeon came to New York Comic Con one year, I was talking to one of the guys from Nickelodeon and Nicktoons, and he and I were just having a discussion, and I told him, well, I got to do some work on the Nicktoon series Kappa Mikey years and years ago, so I understand what's going on here. And he told me, well, to be honest, we're losing ratings. We're losing ratings really bad because fans aren't watching it live, and they aren't DVR it. Instead, they are waiting for this certain girl to upload them to her website, and everyone's worshiping her. That means she's getting all the credit for something Nickelodeon did. So Nickelodeon really just squashed Korra, and a lot of fans are mad by what happened to Legend of Korra, and it's like, well, fans, y'all did it to yourself.
And then to retaliate, because that wasn't enough. To retaliate, they said, you know what? Just to make sure you guys really learn the lesson, we're going to give you a Ninja Turtles movie produced by Michael Bay.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, folks. I'm just kidding. Although, since I mentioned it, is anybody here planning to... Has anybody here seen the trailer for Nickelodeon's Ninja Turtles 2?
God, I've seen it, but I'm not going to go see it.
Oh,
I love the original.
You don't like the new Ninja Turtles?
The CGI cartoon on Nicktoons, cool. The movies scare me. Nothing beats the original.
What are your thoughts, Tyler? Have you seen the trailer? Or are you going to see the movie?
I have seen the trailer. I saw the original movie. I may see this one. I don't know. I'll probably take my nephew if I go at all, because he's a big Turtles fan, but I don't really care.
Wow. I think I am ready for it. Like I saw the first movie in the drive-in theater the day that it opened, down the road from my house. At the bottom of the hill where I live, there's a drive-in. There's an old drive-in movie theater that's still in operation, and they get movies like the day they release. So it's not like the old school where you had to like wait 6 months and then it's out on DVD and then also in the drive-in. Like they come out at the same time as theater.
So,
so you just want to see Rocksteady and Bebop.
Oh, I want to see Rocksteady and Bebop so bad. There is no good reason why, back in the past, they were able to give us Toka and Razor, but they couldn't give us Rocksteady and Bebop. We all wanted to see Rocksteady and Bebop back then. We got Toka and Razor. What the hell was that about? Like, I don't even know. So, and then if they give us Krang, or even if they just give us a hint that Krang is on the way, I will lose it. I will lose it. So I have to say, I know a lot of people have been hating on the new Ninja Turtles, and I know people have their thoughts about Michael Bay and everything, especially with Transformers. I gotta say, I really enjoyed the first Ninja Turtles movie. I'm looking forward to the second one. The first one was a blast, because what I liked was it's got all the new stuff, like all the CG, all the action, all the everything is definitely new, and it looks awesome. But then a lot of the stuff that they're doing is paying homage to the cartoons. I know most people that are upset, I think, are upset that they didn't go to the comics and go way more serious and dark with it. But I think had they done that, it wouldn't have been something I could enjoy with my son.
Yeah, because those comics were dark little things.
Yeah, so for me, it's kind of cool to have something that's like not a serious movie, but it's like a modern movie and a modern telling. I feel of the 80s and 90s Ninja Turtle cartoons that I grew up with. So it's kind of a way for me to like relive my childhood with my son in his childhood, and I'm looking really forward to. I've been waiting 20 years for a Ninja Turtles movie with Rocksteady and Bebop. Michael Bay, you delivered. So, but anyway, so that's my deal. Jeremy, I see that you're on, but you're muted.
Well, I don't want to interrupt nothing because I was late. Sorry, I completely forgot.
Welcome, my friend.
I got on Facebook. I was like, oh shit.
My goodness, right? Like we have like a 2-week hiatus, and Jeremy just like totally writes us off. He's like, "Screw you guys, dead to me."
Yeah, I was mad at you guys for a while there.
Well, Jeremy, that is a-okay. As long as you're here with us, what are your thoughts on Ninja Turtles before we move on to the next gaming topic?
Didn't see the first one. Saw the trailer. Still not gonna see it, but I'm not into comic books, superhero stuff. I know. flaming away.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I'll give you at least you're skipping it because you're not into that kind of stuff. Like I know a lot of people that are skipping it just because it's a new Ninja Turtles movie and Michael Bay's name is attached to it.
Oh.
Those people, I'm saying those people. It's not a great movie. I'm not gonna say it's like the most spectacular movie ever made. There's a couple performances in there that I didn't quite feel. But you know, I like that they had. I don't remember his name, but he played Job or Gob in what's that?
Will Arnett.
Will Arnett, yes. So they had him also from Arrested Development. You know, my only complaint was that he wasn't in the movie enough. So hopefully he's in the second one more. I also thought that you know, Megan Fox, right? That's her name. So I thought that she did a fine job acting. I know some people complain, but what they have to remember is that like these actors are basically acting to air. There's nothing there. There's literally nothing there. And you have to have this complete conversation with 4 completely imaginary turtles, right? There's somebody off camera like saying the lines, and they're probably saying the lines in like a monotone or whatever. They're probably just reading the script. And then she's got to respond back to these people like in character. So I say cut her some slack. You know, acting to CG actors is very hard. I know this from experience because I've done it. It is not easy to pull off, even with CG and effects and all that other stuff. So it's not that kind of movie. Just sit down, shut up, and enjoy it.
Kind of like Blue's Clues, huh?
Blue's Clues.
Do you know that the original guy that was in Blue's Clues went on to form a rock band?
Yeah, I was about to say that. Steve started rock band.
Yeah, it wasn't successful, but he tried.
Is that what happened to him? Because like for a while, people said he blew his head off, basically.
No, not at all.
He was losing his hair, and he was like, I don't want to look old. Like, you know, I don't want to see me age on a show. That's why he quit.
Oh, okay.
Which you know, I could totally.
I know how that feels too.
I could totally sympathize with that. So, folks, he's not dead. He did not blow himself away. He decided to move on to greener pastures. And you know what? I got a lot of respect for anybody that can do a kids show that long. So I wish that his musical endeavors had been more successful than they were. But you know, these things do happen or don't happen, I guess, as the case may be.
So you guys remember what we talked about 2 weeks ago in my lost bet?
Yeah, what happened?
Yes.
So did I shave, guys? What do you guys think?
I'm gonna bet yes because you are a man of your word.
Okay, let's turn the camera on.
Oh my goodness! I'm gonna give you the floor.
As a man of my word, I shaved.
Oh my God!
You're no longer the red bearded gamer. You're now the red stubble gamer.
Yeah, pretty much. And I got a haircut yesterday too, so.
That is pretty awesome. So
You're shiny. Wow.
So what have we learned? What lesson have we learned from this, Jeremy?
Not to bad dash B on viewership, because you viewers don't love me enough.
Look, okay. For all the viewers right now, I want you to know, you guys didn't do this to him. All your friends that should be watching the show that aren't watching the show because you didn't share, like, and subscribe these videos. Well, I guess that is your fault.
And that's what happened.
If you like and subscribe these videos, then Jeremy doesn't have to shave his beard, all right? And you don't have to have Dash B be confused about whether or not it's your fault. So, all right.
The girl of my dreams asked me out that day, but when I told her on the phone I shaved, she said never mind.
She's like, no.
I don't date beard guys, Jeremy.
I saw this picture, and you look like a cuddly grizzly bear.
Oh.
And then you're like, well, here's what I look like now, sugar. And she's like, hello?
Ooh.
Hello? Dial tone from that point forward.
Yeah.
Do phones even
what's
have
next
dial
topic?
tone anymore? Is that a thing?
I don't think so.
I don't think there's a such thing as dial tone anymore. Now that we're in voice over IP.
I know.
Anyway, we were way off topic. So that covers our Sega topic. That covers the upcoming Ninja Turtles movie. What's the other? We have one more topic today that we want to cover, right?
Well, there is other
Well,
Sonic
who is
talk.
it? Nintendo and the shoes?
Yep.
We actually have a lot of stuff to go over still.
Yeah, that's what you get for being away for 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness, it's like an avalanche of topics. All right, I tell you what, Tyler, we did cover some Sega stuff. I know there's still some other Sega stuff, but let's switch gears slightly for a bit, and we might come back
You
to
guys
it.
talk about the delay?
Do we talk about what?
Does Zelda being delayed again?
That's what we were just going to talk about right now.
All right, let's do it.
All right, Jeremy. We are getting some echo from you every now and then, so I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna do the Sega thing and politely ask that you mute when you're not talking. And if it happens again, then I will send the lawyers after you.
Yeah, so Nintendo, getting started here. Nintendo announced this 2 weeks ago, I think it was now, it's been a while, that the NX is on schedule for a March 2017 release.
So
People were saying that it might have been out this holiday.
Nintendo was saying that it would be out this holiday. So I call BS on they're on schedule for a 2017 release. Like,
See, I never heard anything from them about that. I figured there was people just like talking about it, that it would be out.
Yeah, no, I want to say they confirmed it somewhere.
No, I did not.
I don't know if they didn't like confirm it on a Nintendo Direct or whatever, but I want to say that because they talked about Zelda was also supposed to have a 2017 release.
16.
Yeah, I remember saying something about that, like,
2016,
late 2016.
Yeah, it was supposed to be late 2016. It was supposed to come out, and that they were just they haven't really come out and been forthcoming, and openly admitting, hey, we're delaying Zelda because we want to launch it as an NX launch title, which I think is really, really not genuine of them at this point. I'm not really happy with how they're handling their transition from the Wii U to the NX. I'm worried that it's going to be like the N64 jump from Super Nintendo, where a lot of titles that could have come out for Super Nintendo get perpetually delayed until they ultimately get canceled. Star Fox 2. And then I think it's going to come out way later and maybe not be everything that they've been hyping it up to be. Meanwhile, their current gen console, the Wii U, suffers.
Yeah, I've seen stuff in this game, some bad ratings. I don't know why. I like it.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the Wii U. I'm just not a fan of the way, Nintendo has shown all the signs that this is the last year of any kind of support for the Wii U.
There's not much confirmed this year. I think there's a few, really kind of lower tier titles they're talking about. But
yeah.
And at E3, there's only one playable game at E3 for Nintendo. Think about that for a second.
Yeah, that we know of. I'm hoping that there's some surprises that they haven't yet.
They confirmed it. It's the one playable game.
Really? Well, one playable game. That doesn't mean that nothing will be announced, right? And the one playable game.
NX won't be announced.
Tyler, you know what the one playable game is, right?
Mm-hmm. Zelda.
So Zelda for the Wii U. So, which is kind of sad because I was gonna be excited about it, but now that I know it's gonna come out for the NX and probably be way better, honestly, I have zero intention of buying Zelda for the Wii U. I'm looking to get it on. I'm gonna get an NX and I'm gonna get Zelda for the NX, which kind of I don't know. I'm torn. On the one hand, I'm kind of pissed off because I bought a Wii U for 2 games, Zelda Wii U and Mario Maker. Now, on the other hand, right, as pissed off as I am, I don't regret the Wii U purchase because there's so many games. I have 20 games for the Wii U, and I love every single one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I really do think it's an underrated console.
See, I'm kind of in the opposite camp because I look back to the GameCube and the Wii versions of Twilight Princess. I mean, the GameCube version is arguably better because it was developed for the GameCube first. They had all this development time, and then they thought, well, let's put it on the Wii as well. So the motion controls and all that stuff. I feel like it's going to be the same thing. It's been in development for so damn long for the Wii U. I think the Wii U version is probably going to be better. And I think it might be kind of shoehorned to fit the NX. Maybe not.
That'll be interesting. That's a good, you know, I mean, you present a good counterpoint there. So I guess we'll have to wait and see, you know, which actually. I guess I was just thinking, you know, better resolution. Probably things like graphic pop and all that kind of stuff won't be as much of a problem. But we still don't really know what the hell the NX is, and I don't know if I've mentioned it before on the show, but you know, I mean, the NX. If we look at what is in the patents and what we know about it so far, right? In-home console, but also this portable aspect of it. I mean, for all we know, they could just be hyping up Nintendo's version of the PlayStation Vita and PlayStation TV, which was a bomb.
Yeah.
So I kind of, you know, it just seems to me like they're calling it quits on the Wii U, and they're putting the nails in the coffin really prematurely when they've already made it clear, unless they're just fibbing us, they've already made it clear that the NX will be a no-show at E3.
Well, we had the same problem. I mean, the last, I think, the last high-profile first-party game was Zelda Skyward Sword, and then there was like a year of just nothing until the Wii U came out.
Yeah, and
so,
I think
it sounds like it's kind of the same thing is going to happen this time.
Yeah, they have a pattern with that, from SNES to N64, from Wii to Wii U, now Wii U to NX. So I think you're right. I think, you know, we should just expect that there's going to be a drought for the last year, and it's going to kind of limp along. Fortunately, I don't have it with me here, but fortunately my DS is getting a lot of action with Bravely Second, which is an absolutely fantastic game that launched last month. So you know, if I didn't have titles like that on the DS to kind of hold me over, I would kind of forget about Nintendo, frankly, for the next year. But
yeah, I think that's what's going to happen for most people.
Yep. All right.
Zelda was supposed to release 2015, right? They delayed to 2016 out of 2017, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this better be one damn good game when it comes out.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's not like Star Fox, where they delayed the game, you know, for over 6 months, and you know, it still came out to mixed reviews because of choices that they made.
Well, at least it's not Mighty Number 9.
Oh my goodness, that poor. I have no comment on that one. So I think eventually they'll deliver. The difficult thing is, I think any time. The problem is twofold, I think. Part of the problem is funding an entire endeavor from crowdsourced money is one half of the problem. The other problem is people perceiving monies that they pay for a project as them purchasing, like placing a pre-order. Like you giving money to a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo project, I know I've said this before, it is not the same thing as placing a pre-order. When you place a pre-order, there's a company backing that's got some kind of track record, that's got, you know, like an 800-pound gorilla, like making sure that the team is going to deliver, or that a team will deliver, you know, or monies get refunded and all that kind of stuff. With Kickstarter, you don't really have those protection, guys. Like you can pay $100 for the promise of, you know, a physical copy of the game, and then guess what? Like, they could run out of money and go bankrupt, and you could end up with nothing. And I think that's not to discourage people from contributing to these projects, but it's like you need to not look at contributing to the project as buying a product, because that's not what you're doing. What you're doing is you're investing in someone's dream or someone's ambition to produce a product. And investments do not always pan out. So if you're willing to be comfortable with the fact that here's $20, here's $10, here's $100, but I may never see anything, then go ahead and contribute. But if you're giving them the $100 with the by March 9th, I better get my, you should not contribute.
Yeah, you will be disappointed.
You will be disappointed, guaranteed. No matter who it is. I'm not saying specifically the Mighty Number 9 folks, but you know, anything. So.
So we do have a couple other things to talk about real quick. The Strong Museum of Play. You guys all heard of that?
Yes.
They have their Video Game Hall of Fame, and this year is their second year doing it. I know we talked about the first year last time.
We did.
So they have a new group of games. They included this year Grand Theft Auto 3, which was kind of an odd choice, I felt, just because it's sort of new. I mean, it was groundbreaking at the time, but it's a newer game. The Legend of Zelda, the first one, which is, I agree with. Oregon Trail, never played it. Heard a lot about it, though.
Yes, Oregon Trail. I would agree with that one wholeheartedly.
Yeah. The Sims, never played that either. Sonic the Hedgehog, which I'm sure Liz is happy about. And Space Invaders, which is also a pretty groundbreaking thing at the time. So all in all, I think it was a pretty good mix.
Yeah, I think so. You're right. Did they mention why Grand Theft Auto 3?
I don't know that they actually did mention why any of them. Honestly, I think so. I'm not really sure what their criteria is, if there is any.
Yeah.
I know I think it was voted on by people. But I'm not sure.
Vote for that.
Yeah. But people are saying that the Legend of Zelda was included because it was one of the first games that you could have battery backup, which is not true.
No, it's not accurate.
There was a few before, but but still, it launched the whole series, which we just got done talking about. Sonic, obviously very popular, and what was I talking about? Space Invaders. Again, kind of the first killer app for any system, really.
Yeah.
For the Atari. The others I don't know a whole lot about, so I'm not don't want to do too much about those. But,
gotcha. Well, that's interesting. That's cool that wasn't like a flash in the pan thing. That it's something they're planning to keep up with and update regularly. Lizzie, you were gonna say?
Well, what I'm saying is that it would make sense for Sonic to be on it this year, since it is his 25th anniversary. So it would make sense for him to be on it this year.
even Zelda's 30th anniversary as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if it wasn't his 25th, I think there's a lot of things for. I think it's the game that put Sega on the map. I think it was the start of the turn of the tide from Nintendo, single-handedly dominating the market to having like a serious contender in the market. I think it's one of the only mascots that was able to stand toe-to-toe with Mario and Liv. And so, I think, not to mention, I think Sonic the Hedgehog in a lot of ways redefined what we expected from a platformer in terms of speed, in terms of gameplay, and that kind of thing. Also, I don't know if we've ever mentioned it on the show, but as well as I can remember, I think Sonic the Hedgehog was the first platformer game at least, where the main character had idle animations. Oh. And something that went on to be copied in many other games, like Bubsy and things like that. But, I mean, who doesn't remember his toe tapping and that kind of thing?
Yeah, nobody can beat the original.
So I think, there was a lot of precedents that were kind of set with that game that would, earn it a place in there. Zelda, I know I said this last year, but I still kind of stick to it. Zelda, I'm still kind of... I mean, there's a lot of elements of what it was scattered across many other games, both before it and around the same time. Arguably, some games that did it better. I'm a big fan of Zelda, don't get me wrong, Legend of Zelda, but, I wish that as they gave these things, places in the museum, that there was a bit of a, that they'd expound a bit on why. Because, like you said, it couldn't have been for the battery backup. It certainly couldn't have been for establishing the adventure genre, because there were plenty of other games that did that. But
yeah, I'm looking it up and trying to see what their actual criteria is, if there is any.
Yeah.
I'm not really seeing anything. So I don't know if I'm looking in the wrong place or what. But
you're looking for Zelda in all the wrong places.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
So. But that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that they're still doing the video game Hall of Fame.
Yeah, so it seems if you go to their website, it does say a little bit about every game, but not really.
Gotcha. Not really their justification. Yeah. Jeremy, I saw your lips moving, but no words were coming out because you're on mute.
One game is missing though. Ace Combat.
I was gonna say Blaster Master.
Blaster Master.
We need Ace Combat 4 in the Hall of Fame next year, guys.
All right,
Maybe.
I'll submit a couple ballots in there under different names.
Let's see. Moving on, we have. Oh yes, the Vans company, Vans shoe company. I don't know if you guys have heard about this.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, they're coming out with a Nintendo line of shoes.
You know, I'm tempted.
So am I.
So here's the only reason why I probably would not get them is because I've discovered memory foam sneakers, and oh my goodness, like once you've walked around in shoes made entirely out of memory foam, it's really difficult to wear any other kind of shoes. It's like the only way I can describe it is imagine getting brand new shoes and they slip on and off just as easily as shoes that have been broken in for like a year. I mean, it's amazing. So if Van makes memory foam Nintendo brand shoes, I'll happily purchase them.
Yeah, I've been wearing Vans for years. I mean, I haven't owned a pair of shoes besides dress shoes that weren't Vans, and I don't know how long. I mean,
oh wow! So you're only Van.
Pretty much. I mean, going back 15 years or more. I mean, I've been wearing Vans forever, and I got a pair of the Star Wars ones a few years ago. So I think these will kind of go, with that.
So let me ask you this question, right? Because you'd be the first guy I'd ever met that was this way. Like, did you buy the shoes just to kind of have them, or did you wear the Star Wars shoes?
Oh, I wear them. I got them as a birthday present, and I do wear them.
Because I've known, I had a girlfriend once that collected shoes. She would buy all kinds of boots and shoes
But
never. Like she'd like maybe wear them once like in the store to like make sure that they fit, and then they would go into like the shoe cave or whatever, whatever they call it. They would go there and you'd never see them again except when she was all like, hey, look at my boots and shoes, and I'd be like, you gonna wear those? Oh no, not today. Okay. All right. So I didn't know if you were like, well, here's my Star Wars shoes, here's my Nintendo shoes, here's my Back to the Future shoes.
No, not like that. I just, actually, I said I got them as a gift for my birthday, and I wear them. So.
Hey, there's no shame in having them, and I would
they are kind of getting worn out. So.
Yeah, in spite of the heck that I'm giving you right now, right? Like, I would say there's no shame in getting them, and certainly I could understand as a collector, people getting themed products like that and then keeping them. What was weird to me was like 8 different leather shoes that are just like, to me they all look like the same leather shoes. But like I could understand like here's Star Wars, here's whatever, here's here, and I could understand the desire to not have them get worn out and destroyed, in time, with time or whatever. So.
But that's one of the things I've noticed about the Star Wars ones in particular is they do fade kind of a lot. So I try not to wear them all the time. But I do wear them.
You just wear them for special occasions.
No, not even that. I don't know. Vans, they do seem to fade in the sun. I don't know why.
So did you wear your Star Wars sneakers to the Star Wars movie that came out?
I did.
There we go. How did I know?
I don't know. I'm a huge nerd. There's no.
How did I know? So maybe what I'll do then, maybe that you bring up a good point, because maybe what I'll do is maybe I'll get a set of Nintendo Vans, right? And maybe I'll wear those at different events that I go to when I'm representing like Retro Reload.
Yes, you should.
Why didn't they make any Sonic ones? Come on, Van. Why not? It'd been cool.
I don't. You know why they didn't? Because they don't.
Down like competition.
I was gonna say they need Steve, right? Be like, hey, look, I know marketing. You need to do this, right?
Well, if they did make Sonic shoes, what would they look like? Sonic's shoes?
Yeah,
shoes?
that would be. They've already made that, but I think it's in Japan or something. I looked at them. I don't think I would buy them because I'm like, I can make my own, so forget that. But I would still collect it.
Yeah, Lizzie, I know she's not revealing it yet because she's still working on stuff, but like she'll show me some of the cosplay projects that she's working on and everything, and like it just inspires me so darn much. I'm like, Lizzie, you have to stop like filling me in on some of these projects because I'm on Amazon right now, like looking for a sewing machine so I can make my own stuff, and I don't know how any of this stuff works. I don't know a double stitch from a single stitch. Like, why am I looking at sewing machines? So, but anyway, it is kind of cool though to see like, you know, something that you would normally only see like in the context of a game or the fantasy world or whatever. It's cool when you see like somebody that's actually done it justice in like the real world. Like, hey, if Sonic's shoes did exist in the real world, here's what they'd look like, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
And
what else?
Well, speaking of merchandise, since it is Sonic's 25th anniversary, something has been launched called Sonic Styles, which basically there's a lot of Sonic like T-shirts, necklaces, and things like that are popping up in stores. There's a couple stores in New York and California. I think I forgot the name of it. It's like Red Spring or some weird boutique store. But they have like mannequins with like special Sonic shirts on them, Sonic gold necklaces, some really funky looking high heel blue shoes, some blue makeup you put on, and it's all inspired based on Sonic. And I'm familiar with this because My Little Pony did the same thing a few years ago. And I went to a party at a boutique store, and they had a whole bunch of special My Little Ponies on display with a whole bunch of My Little Pony inspired jackets. So that's basically what they're trying to do this year is they're doing a bunch of merchandise inspired by Sonic the Hedgehog. You will still see like plushies, T-shirts, and like caps, stuff like that. In fact, I got this at Spencer's or Hot Topic, but I don't know if it got released early by accident. But yeah, it's basically like Sonic Spinball. You have, I think that's Sonic 3 from like the European game, and like another Sonic Spinball. But yeah, this is one of the samples I've seen start to get released, and Spencer's Hot Topic already have Sonic merchandise on sale.
That's pretty neat. I will have to check those out. Although I've never, I don't know, like once. I always thought Spencer's was a cool store to check out, and then I have like, you know, a kid now, and like I'm always afraid of going in there and him seeing something that I don't want to
going in Spencer's. I told my dad I gotta go in Spencer's. He goes, "Why? What the heck is that thing on the wall?" I go, "It's a penis, but don't worry about him. I'm just going for Sonic."
Yeah, just stab in the back corner. You'll be fine.
Yeah, see, that's exactly like I don't want to be like, you know. My son, I mean, the most innocent question, right, I hope he'd ask would be like, who's Spencer? Right? Like, that question I could answer, but half the other questions he'd ask in that store would be like, when you're older, when you're older, when you're older. I'll explain it later.
What's that funky smell? Because those stores stink sometimes.
Hot Topic, yeah, sometimes. It smells like a high school like locker room, right?
Yeah, but Spencer's, like, sometimes they'll have those little insist, and I don't know what's in there, but if you go in the back, it scares me.
Did you say they have incest at Spencer's?
No, that's not what I meant. But you know the little fragrances.
I know what you incense. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they have them and they stink. And then when you go in the back, you're like, I feel so ashamed to be in the back. Yeah. So I try to stay in the pop culture section because that's where you'll see Sonic and He-Man, Pokemon, all that stuff.
I used to remember, when I was in college, I would go to Hot Topic, not for the shirts or any of that other stuff, but I would go there because it was the best place to find, like, just random Tori Amos singles. And I was a huge, you know, I've always been a fan of Tori Amos and everything. I think she's a fantastically talented, singer and musician. And what was really cool is that, her singles were always, she'd always have like one of her like more popular songs, but remixed in these really weird ways. Like she'd have like techno remixes of like, harpsichord and piano music. It was like the weirdest thing, but somehow she made it work. So and you'd only find these at Hot Topic. You wouldn't find them anywhere else. And we didn't have like, eBay and things like that weren't as big
back in the day
as they were now. I don't even remember if eBay existed back when I was in college, but I don't think that it did yet.
No, I don't think it did. I'm trying to think, because we're the same age. And I'm trying.
Yeah, I'm thinking like 1996 to 2000. If it did exist, barely anybody knew about it.
All I know is Hot Topic, usually for like Sailor Moon and Yasha, all your anime stuff, your pop culture stuff, Sonic.
Yeah.
Not very much Sonic. Now, I will say this. Based on what employees of Hot Topic and Spencer say, their Sonic merchandise does go quick. So if you see it, go buy it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I need to get some more gaming shirts. I have
Walmart.
Shirts, but not really gaming
Walmart.
shirts.
Walmart, JCPenney, and Sears are starting to get more gaming shirts.
They better.
Yeah, but it's on the men's section, so things like this I have to buy in the men's section. I'm like, I have to buy a small, and it's still too big, but it's like, whatever. It's Sonic.
Yeah, fortunately, like you fall into the fortunate part of the fact that we have double standards here in America, right? So like you as a female can wear men's clothing, and people just think, wow, that's pretty cool, right? Like, look at her, she's wearing that's a dude's shirt, but she's rocking it, right? Like, if I was to wear one of those curvy girl shirts or whatever, people would be like, okay, what's going on over here? I don't know, but I don't like it.
It's a big fan of Sailor Moon.
What was that, Tyler?
So I think it's okay if you do it. It's fine.
You would like it?
Yeah, if you did, yeah.
You would still respect me?
Yes, absolutely.
That's good to know. That's good to know. I would still respect you, by the way.
Well, I would do that, but.
Oh yeah, and if Tyler, if you wanna put that to the test and come on to next week's episode dressed as Sailor Moon.
I was gonna let you do that.
That's your prerogative.
Maybe.
So, but it is kind of a double standard, right? Like, I mean, there's some stuff. For example, if Lizzie was to come on next Tuesday, right, wearing I don't know, a Mike Tyson T-shirt or something like that, right? Like, nobody would think anything of it, right? If I was to come on next Tuesday wearing a My Little Pony shirt.
No, wrong one, because bronies are very popular, so you'd be okay. And there are tons of My Little Pony shirts in the guys section.
That's so
really? Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. See, I guess I stand correct. Maybe there is no double standard. Maybe I'm just stuck in the past. Back in the past, when I was a kid, if a guy came to school wearing a My Little Pony shirt, he'd get beat up.
Shit beat out of you.
Now I understand it's a thing, right? Bronies and there's meetup groups and all kinds of stuff.
I don't know.
So, all right. What else do we have in terms of news topics? Did we exhaust all the news topics?
I think so. We're just talking about pickups, I guess, and that's all I got.
I did have some pickups this week, or the last 2 weeks, basically. I already had these games, but I didn't have them complete in box. So I went ahead and got them all complete in box, and apparently, Tyler, what did I say?
He said he'll be right back.
He totally, I didn't mean it, Tyler. It's okay. They're not really complete in box. I was just kidding. I wasn't trying to brag. It's okay. It's okay. No, what I did want to mention, though, is, so I got these two together, right? And then, actually, no, that's not true. So, first I got Sonic Spinball. Then I got Sonic 2. Then the only affordable Sonic the Hedgehog that I could get, it actually turned out to be, and I've mentioned this before, look for the deals, guys, right? It actually turned out to be cheaper for me to buy Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic Spinball together, complete, than it would have for me to buy Sonic the Hedgehog by itself. Somebody had them both for $14, free shipping.
Awesome.
And the cheapest I could find these was $20 with free shipping by themselves. So,
complete?
Mama didn't raise no fool. But what that does mean, guys, is that means that I've got 2 copies of Sonic Spinball. And so, for those of you, nobody's watching right now, so the only people that are going to catch this are the people that are in the post-show. But for anybody that's watching the post-show, that stuck it out until the end of the episode, here is Dash V's offer. So, I have 2 copies. Which one is it? this particular copy right here, because I don't like that it has the little fringy thing up at the top. But that's pretty much the only problem. Like everything else is it's got a good quality manual. The game looked practically brand new. So this copy right here, I will give to a viewer. I'll pay the shipping and everything. You just gotta, I'll give the details momentarily, but I'll pay shipping, and as long as it's within the continental U.S., the 48 states.
There's 48 states?
What was that?
That's where 50 states.
There's 50 states, but there's only 48 that are, continental.
Okay.
So Alaska doesn't count, and neither does Hawaii as continental. They count as states, for the record. Alaska and Hawaii, I consider real states, but unfortunately, your shipping is ridiculous. So as long as you're in any of the other 48 states, I will ship you this. Here's what you got to do. You have to go through every episode of Retro Reload, and you have to count how many times I have said, folks, we are live, I'm your host, Dash V. The first person to correctly give me the number of episodes that I have said, folks, we are live, this is Dash V, will win the complete in-box copy, and I will pay the shipping and everything to your house. So I do have a second place prize, though, because I mentioned I have a lot of these games already. So the second place prize, the second person to correctly tell me, folks, we are live, blah, 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 I have a loose cart-only version. It's actually this one right here. I'll show you the exact one. So it is in good condition. There's some nicks on it. It's not flawless, guys. This thing is like 30 years old. But
30?
perfect. I think so, yeah. I think it's 30 years old.
No.
Yeah.
Sonic's 25 years old.
What's that?
Sonic's 25 years old.
Well, close to 30. Close to 30. 30-ish, right? 25, 30, right? Like 30 years old, give or take 5 to 8 years. But I will, again, same deal. I'll pay the shipping, blah, 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 blah. So, folks, if you want a copy of Sonic Spinball complete, go through, watch our episodes, count up how many times I've said, folks, we are live, this is Dash V. The first person to get me, a correct count will win the complete in-box copy. The second person to get me the complete count will get the cart only. So, and this is an open-ended deal from now until basically we cancel the show. So, doesn't have to be this week, doesn't have to be next week. I'm going to keep these aside. I will put these in the Retro Reload vault. Disney, you're not the only one that's got a vault. Yeah. I will put these in the Retro Reload vault for the lucky person that finds it. I didn't want to do anything crazy like say, oh, we have to get a certain number of subscribers or a certain number of viewers or whatever. I'm not trying to do anything gimmicky like that, but I do want to make sure that these go to somebody who's not just going to do something gimmicky or win them out of luck. I want there to be some kind of skill. So consider this like a scavenger hunt. And I want it to be somebody who's invested enough in retro gaming to be interested in going through some of our previous episodes, and even if only to do a tally of the first 5 minutes. I didn't want it to give it to somebody that's just going to turn around and resell it on eBay. So.
Now, do they submit it in this video or to our Facebook, their answers?
What's that? Oh, that's a very good, actually. That's very good. So what I need you to do is I need you to post it as a comment on this exact video. This exact video. So thank you, Jeremy, for pointing that out. Only folks that comment on this exact video, and make sure that you do it with an account where you can check the messages, because when you comment here, I will respond back to you and send you a private message. We'll exchange information, and I will make sure that you get your copy of it. Don't use some throwaway account. If you create 20 accounts thinking that it's going to give you 20 chances, yeah, that's true, but now you're going to have to go check 20 different messages to figure out which one I sent your info to. And if I'm a jerk, I might just send it to the wrong account. So, also, I will put an expiry on there. If you win and I send you a message and you don't respond to it within, I'll say, 2 weeks, I will automatically make the second place winner the first place winner, and somebody who didn't get second place but was really close will get second place. So that's how we'll kind of do that. So you have to post a comment to the, down in the doodly-doo to this video tallying up, folks, we are live. I'm your host, Dash V, from all of our other videos, including this one. And then I will follow up with you for how you can get your games.
Cool.
I think that's pretty cool. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Do you know how many we've done this?
Friends of hosts allowed to pick?
Friends of hosts are allowed to do it. The only people that are not eligible are the people who are on right now.
Yeah, because I already have them.
What this also means is folks that we've had on as guests in the past, right? Folks like the folks from Curious Quail, folks like Cliff, the Southern Star Gamer, people that have been previously guests on the show, but are no longer still actively involved in our current and future shows. More than welcome to join in. So you just got to know how to count, and you got to be able to stomach lots of retro reload.
So I actually had one pickup recently.
What was your pickup?
To get back on topic. So I bought I think you may have known this, a few weeks ago I bought a Famicom to NES converter, so I can play Famicom games.
I did not know about
So I bought my first Famicom game.
Oh,
I got
nice.
Bomberman.
Bomberman?
Bomberman for the Famicom.
Now, that was an interesting choice. Why Bomberman for the Famicom?
Because I like Bomberman, and I don't own it on the NES, so I thought, what the hell? And it's a lot cheaper, too. Not a lot cheaper, but it's cheaper on Famicom, even with shipping. I think I spent $6 for it, with shipped, So,
now, that Bomberman, the first Bomberman, is unique in that I think it was the first one that was not multiplayer. Is that correct?
Yes, I think.
I believe the first Bomberman is completely single player, but I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So, is it? I imagine it's still fairly playable, even though it's in Japanese, right?
It's actually all in English. I mean, there's not much reading.
Really?
All that's there is just like press start. I mean, it's pretty. Again, the title screen is the exact same as the U.S. release, as far as I know.
Oh, interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, and I wanted something that I know that I can play without speaking Spanish or without speaking Japanese. So
I think some other games that maybe would be interesting for you to kind of take a look at. The first Goonies, only released in Japan. Samurai Pizza Cats is another good one. Are you familiar with that, Lizzie?
Oh, I love Samurai Pizza Cats.
Yeah, there was a Samurai Pizza Cats came out for the Famicom in Japan.
Well, it was also a cute little anime. So.
Yeah, and what's really cool is the anime, that's what it's inspired by, and so they did the game like it's an episode of the anime. And what's really cool is that some fans of Samurai Pizza Cats actually made a translation patch that if you go to retro5.net, you can actually download that IPS patch, and you can use the Famicom version of Samurai Pizza Cats on your Retron 5 with a full English translation.
Yeah, I know they recently redubbed it, and it's out for purchase.
Yeah, so I never knew about them before. Our one Canadian viewer was selling his Famicom collection, and he had all these different games, and he had the translations of what they were, and Samurai Pizza Cats was just too out of a title for me to not look up, and then when I did, I was pleasantly surprised. It was I liked it for all the reasons I liked Ninja Turtles back in the day.
Actually, what's kind of funny is in the English dub, the old English intro, they made fun of the Ninja Turtles briefly.
Nice.
Yeah, one of the things I noticed when I was looking up what games to buy when I bought this that I really liked was the actual picture on the cartridge. It looks nothing like Bomberman. I mean, it doesn't look like the game. It's like Mega Man in that way. The artwork doesn't look anything like the character.
Very interesting. I think that was during the time when I think some of the folks were still kind of grappling with. Do you do like Atari, where the label is kind of more like. I mean, you look at stuff like Defender and Asteroids and everything. You're like, wow, this is gonna be so epic, right? And then you play the game, and it's a square firing squares at other squares. That's like the whole game, right? And like, but the pictures on the cover looked so friggin' epic, and so I think, you know, there was some of that in the Nintendo age where they were just like, look, like, people aren't going to get turned on by the actual graphics, so you got to come up with something more artsy and more like, this is what we want you to like envision the game as, not this pixelated monster or whatever.
Well, it's funny because it's just a little picture of like a guy and a bomb, but it doesn't even look like the Bomberman that we're used to, or is even in the game. It's just
I saw Jeremy during my comment about Atari, like laughing and everything, and sitting there like ear to ear grin. And take yourself off of mute, buddy. You know what I'm talking about. Don't you?
But Atari, oh yeah, I've said that before. That when you look at Atari games, like for 2600, like, oh, these graphics look awesome. And then you turn it on, it's like, oh damn, this is different.
Another game that did Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde for the Nintendo.
I never played that one before.
But you look at the cover and it's like this guy, his face is all like, you know, everything. And you're like, whoa, this looks so. And then you play it and it's like, you know, Nintendo-y graphics, and you're like, this is way less epic than the label led me to believe. So I believe that exhausts our news for the evening, and with that, we're at time.
Oh, well, can I show my pickups real quickly?
Did you want to? Oh yeah, you have pickups. I'm sorry, Liz. Go ahead, throw out your pickups, and we'll go a little long.
Okay, first pickup. Got it.
You
Sega
got the
3D Classics. Yes, I love these games, except for Puyo Puyo 2. I hate those little freaking things. They cheat because,
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why is Zangief driving a convertible?
why not?
I don't know. It's part of the game. Power Drift.
Okay.
Altered Beast is on here, which I got it confused with Golden Axe until I started playing it. Puyo Puyo 2 drove me nuts because you're playing against someone and that person cheats. They will throw a whole bunch of stuff on top of yours, and they start freaking out if you're winning. But then when you lose, they're all happy cheering like, oh, I just wanted to just punch you in the face for doing that to me. So I'm enjoying the other games, but not that one.
I was interested in that one until I realized the only game that was on there that I remembered and that I cared about was Sonic the Hedgehog 1.
Well, I was looking at Fantasy Zone 2.
Okay.
There's actually an extra game you can unlock.
Really?
You have to hit a certain button and hit like a little bad guy, and the extra game appears. So there is an extra unlockable game in here.
Do you know what the extra game is or no?
Yeah, it's fine. It's Fantasy Zone 1.
Oh, it is Fantasy Zone 1. And if I remember correctly, Fantasy Zone 1 is one of those games that's become ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, so you get it for free on this.
That's pretty cool.
So that's a cool gift that Sega/Nintendo gives you. Also, this past weekend, it was Free Comic Book Day. So guess what I got? 2 copies. Because I had to.
That's pretty nice.
Yep, had to get 2 copies of it.
What are the other comics that you got? Were the other ones free comics?
Oh yeah, 2. Let's see. Get Sonic out of the way. I love my Legend of Korra, so I got a Legend of Korra one. I got, because I'm getting into it, DC Superhero Girls.
Okay.
Which is basically all the cute girls in high school or college or something. So that, and how to get Street Fighter.
Nice.
So I got that. So unfortunately, they only let you get 5, so that way everyone can get some. That's basically the rule for Comic Book Day. So if anyone doesn't know, it's the first Saturday in May every year. So just go to your comic book store and there'll be a huge line, so get there very early, and you get to pick 5 comics that you want.
Well, different stores have different policies. I think the one by my house, they hit it 2. I need to go this year. I forgot about it, but
yeah. Well, the ones I got from Bedrock City let you get 5 because they had so many. So they're like, okay, you can get 5, and that's it. Something else I got at Bedrock City, I'm not going to drink it because I'm afraid, but it's a Sonic the Hedgehog energy drink. But there's no way I'm going to drink this because it's full of B vitamins and it's got like 27 grams of sugar, so I don't think it's a good idea.
I didn't see the Sonic, I didn't see energy drink at the bottom, and I'm like, wow, they're actually selling canisters of speed.
Energy drink. There was also a Mega Man, but I didn't see it until I started to leave, and I was like, dang it, I would have gotten Mega Man.
So, but that's cool though. Where did you get that?
Bedrock City Comics.
Oh, is it this? And is it? I can't even talk anymore.
It's an actual can.
Friends don't let friends host drunk.
Why are you drunk?
I guess my question though was like, did that come out a long time ago, or is that out now? Is it only through that one place?
Oh no, it's out now. You can find it like at comic book stores. Maybe some Spencer's or Hot Topics might have them.
Okay, 'cause I would like to get some of those again. Also, like you, not to drink, but just to kind of have on display,
Well, I think like Amazon and eBay have them too. There is a Mega Man one, and it has the pixelated Mega Man, and it actually says E-Tank on it. So that's really cool.
That's awesome. That's the one to get. I'm gonna get those. Here I was picking on T. Pugmire about potentially buying shoes he's not gonna wear, and I want to buy beverages I never intended to drink.
I also got this. Sorry.
What was that?
Oh, go ahead, Taylor.
No, I was just going to say, if you don't plan on drinking that, I've heard in the past from other people who collect strange things, if you have cans you don't want to drink, it's better to like poke a hole in the bottom with a nail or something and drain the drink out of it, because one day it probably will explode in your room. So.
Oh, Sonic. This is the other one I got, which I'll probably never use, but it's a cool drinking glass thing, so it's all see-through.
That's pretty neat.
So those are my pickups for Sonic.
Great. All right. Well, I do plan to have this Friday is going to be a payday for me, so I definitely will have some pickups for next week. Jeremy, I thought I saw you raise your hand earlier, as if maybe you had a comment, or did I?
Well, I was going to show the Atari, like how they are, like.
Ooh.
The fancy art.
I'll give you that floor.
Berserk.
Yeah, Berserk.
Doesn't that look epic?
Like a little space guy and a robot or something.
I want to play that.
So you see, it's fancy art, but we turn on, it's pixelated pretty much.
Oh man, to me, Star Wars was the first game that I had played on the Atari where I felt like the game experience matched the graphics. Because hold up the cartridge again. Like, what are they showing you there, right? They're showing you. That one's not.
The space guy. Yeah, it's Berserk, space guy.
Yep.
Like a robot or a bug.
But you got the other one, Star Raiders. Star Raiders for a second. So Star Raiders to me was the first game that actually did like justice to the game. Like you see a console there, right? You see a cursor. You see space. When you play the game, you see space with a cursor flying around, and you got the touchpad. Do I have it here? I'm in stereo. But you have the touchpad, which I don't have readily available. But the touchpad is basically like your console. And one of the buttons that you hit shows you like a map and all this other stuff. So for me, even though the graphics obviously didn't at all match like the quality of the graphics on the cover of the game, it was the first game I'd ever saw where like the gist of what was there was what was represented in the game. And so I spent hours and hours and hours on that game. To me, that was one of the most immersive Atari games of the time. And then had I known about the game Solaris, anybody that's played Star Raiders that liked it should really, really check out Solaris. It's better in every possible way. Really good game, and it has a special graphics chip in it that actually allows it to have better than average Atari graphics. So, all right. So, folks, we're over time. Hopefully you enjoyed it. This has been Retro Reload. Don't forget about Dash V's challenge. If you're willing to go back, check out some of the earlier episodes. Count how many episodes from the very beginning I've hosted and said, folks, we are live, this is Dash V. Post a comment down in the doodly-doo with the count. If you're the first person to get the count correct, you get a complete copy of Sonic Spinball with cart and manual. If you're the second person to get the count correct, then you will get the you'll get the cart-only version of it. And I will wait a bit to announce who's correct, because I know that some people, the second place person's probably just going to wait for the first place person, because I would, and then they're just going to post, like the same count. You guys can go ahead and do that. I'm not going to police it. I have no way of knowing either way. But just know, just like folks that copied off of people in high school, just make sure you're copying off the winner. Because there's nothing worse than copying off the dude that failed. So, all right, this has been
It's been every single episode.
What was that?
It's a helpful hint. It's been almost every single episode.
Well, but have I hosted every single episode?
Almost.
Right? You'd have to go through East Coast and West Coast ones, and just because I hosted didn't mean I said, folks, we're live, this is Dash V. I say that exact phrase. So, all right. Peace out, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.